Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Tall and Taller. I believe this is episode 75 for us. Got a lot to talk about. I mean, Tigers are back. Michigan versus Boston College in the Frozen Four next week. As the Wolverines look to make their first national championship since 1990, not make win their first national championship since 1998. Talk a little bit about the Michigan Panthers in the UFL and give our Detroit sports Mount Rushmore. Um, first off, I want to roll into the Frozen Four next week. Um, I just thought about this too. I didn't add this in there just because I made these topics up last week. We'll probably talk a little bit about the Final Four or the finals tomorrow now that they're set, UConn and Alabama. We can roll right into that. Finals for the NCAA basketball tournament, UConn versus Alabama. Of course, Alabama, they don't make football. They somehow find their way to the championship in basketball.
Right.
um,
And
I mean,
their basketball team. They're not a blue blood in
no.
basketball, right? But they've been really competitive for a few years now and decent. And um, I really like the Hurley guy in Connecticut. A lot of people don't like him. I think he's too cocky, but I don't see them losing. But it's nice to see teams that aren't always in there get in there. And Bama's been dominant in football for 20 years, so
Well, yeah, and
I still don't like them, but it's nice to see, instead of Duke and Carolina and all those teams, it's just nice to switch it up. Just like it was nice to see us win even if it wasn't the team that we root for, it's nice to see someone other than Alabama or the SEC get in there and do something. So that's my thoughts on it.
yeah, and looking at the actual game, I think the matchup. Ever since really, especially that first weekend, UConn to me and has proved it every week, every game since. They just look unstoppable. They look like they're bound easily to pretty much easily make a back to back run again.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, they won last night by 15 or something like that, pretty fairly easily. Versus shit, who'd they play? Who'd they play? They didn't play North Carolina State, did they? Alabama played NC State, right?
Yeah.
I'd have to. And then who'd UConn play? I don't. Why am I?
I forget.
Oh no. So Purdue. Never mind. Wow, I messed this all up.
So you
Wow.
have me confused because I'm like,
Yeah. Whoa. Why did I think Alabama? I
and I
had them
don't
for the
know
Final
because I'm
Four
thinking
game.
about it. I
Yeah.
know Zach he made it, and I just went with it. I thought maybe I was off base.
No. You're right. I didn't even think about that. All right, guys, let's restart that. Sorry, I've been up for 30 minutes. Um,
Yeah, I just went with it, but in the back of my mind, I'm like,
yeah,
that
that's
just
not right.
yeah,
Connecticut played Alabama last night and lost.
yeah.
Yes, that's right. Anyways, Purdue versus UConn, two number one seeds. I think a lot of people thought Purdue wouldn't get here. I know I didn't. I figured they'd
No,
be a
they're the choke masters, right? They have a good. They're one of two teams that
their
a one
last
seed lost to a 16, right? You want to
well,
know
their
what
last
that I read yesterday is Virginia was the first team, right, that lost to a 16, and the following year they won a natty, and now Purdue is back in the natty game a year following. But I don't think they have enough for UConn either. And how about that Hurley family, man? The dad, well, Bobby Hurley Jr. played at Duke, was a hell of a
mhm.
player. He didn't do much in the NBA. The son, this is his, got a chance to win back-to-back NCAA championships, had a lot of success at UConn. And the dad, Bobby Hurley Sr., 26, state high school championships. That's just unreal to do that 26 times. And he's been around a long time, obviously, right? But that to have that amount of success to sustain it over a long period of time, that's part of what makes Brady the GOAT and a lot of other Tiger Woods. It's hard enough to be great for a year or two and win a championship or win an individual accolade, but to do it over decades is just highly impressive.
Yeah, I mean, it's like you said. The best way to compare it is, I mean, the Harbaugh family.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not even talking about Michigan. Like that's you look at the dad. Look at Jack. Jack had success. Was it Western Kentucky, right?
Yep.
Western Kentucky. And then I mean, John won a Super Bowl. Jim
Right.
won national championship.
Been to a Super Bowl.
Yep, been to a Super Bowl. I mean, there's a lot of accountability and close connections. It seems like they're
Yeah.
where they're about the same.
Yeah, and the Harbaughs are right up there with the Hurleys, and I would probably even put the Harbaughs above the Hurleys because they've done it at a higher level. Are one of the country's legendary coaching families, and I don't even necessarily say that as a Michigan fan. If you can't admit that, you're just either dumb or don't know sports. They are coaching family royalty in my eyes because you just look at like you said, um, dad won a national championship, brother won a Super Bowl, Jim won a Super Bowl or won a natty and was in the Super Bowl. So that's impressive.
Oh, it always will be. Looking on the Purdue side, like you said, I was going to go down this road. Is that like you said, they lost to the 16 seed last year, but their tournament record has not been great for the past 3 years. 3 years ago, or 4 years ago, technically, I guess, they've lost to 12 seed. Next year, they lost to a 15 seed in St. Pete. And then last year, losing to, I don't even know who they lost to last year.
Maybe.
But I mean, looking at that, I mean, I think that's where my point of I definitely didn't see them doing this just due to the fact, and I mean, Zach Edey. Let's talk about him for a minute because I know what I want you to guess. Do you know where he's actually from?
He's Canadian.
Okay, I did not know that.
So I remember watching something on him last year, and I was really kind of surprised because he looks Asian, right?
Well, his mom was a first generation, so he's a second generation.
Right, but I probably would have forgot, but they were just talking about it yesterday or the day before, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's right. But yeah, interesting, right? Like you could win some trivia bets on that.
Yeah, because we were sitting at the restaurant last night, and Brittany had asked me what it was, like where he was from, like, and I was like, I honestly don't know, but I'm pretty sure he's American. Like, I don't think he's like first generation or something like that. But I mean, on him, I mean, a lot of people, he gets away with a lot. He does, and I'm conflicted, and I think you are too. I mean, I'm not. Neither one of us are 7'5", but I mean, when you're bigger, refs let you play a little bit more.
Yep.
And don't always give you the fouls on yourself. I think.
No,
And
I feel
that's
like
where a lot of people
you
bitch.
get called a tighter game because of things that you can't control. And he's a big guy and he's a strong guy. And he was national player of the year last year, right? In the running this year.
Yeah, he already won it.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
So 2 times back to back. I don't know that his game translates to the NBA. Maybe some team can find him. He's not a high end athletic guy. He's somebody that would have did real good back in the Bad Boys era. when there were a lot of centers, or maybe even with the.
And that's the thing is centers are not centers anymore. Centers in the NBA are
Right.
kids who played power forward in high school and could dribble the ball. And I mean,
Right.
that's just what the games went away, and that's another reason why I fucking hate the NBA. But excuse my language.
Right.
Why the NBA is just not to me fun anymore to watch. I mean, it's
not.
and it could also be because the Pistons have won like 11 games all season and continue to suck. But
And that for sure contributes to it.
But I mean, it's not the same. It's not. There's no defense in the game anymore, and is what it is. But I mean, I think. Let me pull this up real quick. So I know I had in this game. I know I had UConn in the national championship, winning the national championship. I think, but they were my only Final Four team to make it. I was looking pretty good. I don't even know. I think I don't even know what I have for tournament challenge wise anymore. I was in first going into the Sweet 16, and all that took a shit.
This
20.
this by far is my worst year for brackets ever. I think I'm dead last in the Wilson family group, and I got to be close and taller. And I could have swore that I picked UConn in one of them, but guess not. I maxed out at 450 points in both of them.
Yeah, you were 51st in ours in the tall and taller one.
Yeah, how many people is there?
53.
Right.
Dude, there's the dude. The dude at the top is 99.3%.
Yeah, that's unbelievable. And as we talked about in the tournament, I can't think of any major upsets. But there's a lot
Oakland, Kentucky. That's really it.
Yeah. I forgot about that. That was a big one. But yeah, the first round, right? That not really much
Other
after
than that, I mean,
but,
NC State makes the run.
Is the upsets. There's a lot of victories that just can't be claimed as major upsets, because there's so much parity in college basketball, and it's been working that way for a long time. But the portal has kind of helped that along. A guy says, in the NIL, a guy says, hey, I can go start for Oakland, let's say, and make a little money, or I can ride the bench at Kentucky and make a lot more money. Most kids are gonna, even though money has clouded it, I think it's still true that most kids would rather play than have some money. And there's going to be some out there that I'd rather have $1 million a year sitting on the bench than play. And those guys are, I don't feel like they're in it purely for the love of the game. And, we're going to see that shrink and shrink as this goes on, because there's a lot of things, we've talked about this a lot, that just change with the opportunities that are out there. Now there's talk of, with this new Super League that they're talking about, collective bargaining and
how it's kind of gonna be like how the live is with the PGA.
Yeah.
From what my understanding by it, and
but the thing that I don't like about it most is they're talking about giving players contracts, and once they're under contract, and I think that's the way it has to go, just because of everything that's going on. But once they have contracts and they're under contract, it's basically a pro team, right? And so then, can you trade guys? How can they leave? Do they have to reimburse? There's just a lot of things going on, but that's a whole nother deal. But my point is the upsets that were even 10 years ago, but especially 20, 30, 40 years ago, we're just going to see less and less of them. And that's why the tournament is still my favorite single sporting event, because you just don't know what's going to happen. You think you do and you don't. And, that excitement and uncertainty is part of what attracts you to sports, and
Definitely.
especially there's not much. There's not much on TV that I like to watch if my team's not playing. Like I'll turn it on and just kind of pay attention to it, but to be into it, and the NCAA tournament still has that, and it'll be interesting to see how long it sticks around.
I agree. Prediction. I'll do this. Purdue, UConn. I'm running with UConn still. I'm running with the day I die. I think it's an easy win for them still, just like they have all tournament.
Me too.
But I guess we'll find out tomorrow night. At I can we NCAA anybody please? Can we stop playing championship games on a fucking Monday night? Please. It's been like this for years, but please can we stop doing it? Why? I know we can't play it on Sunday because especially football because the NFL and but why are we playing basketball? Why not have the game on a Friday? I mean, I get it. Really, I guess Sundays wouldn't be any better, but play the game Sunday at like 5 o'clock instead of playing it Monday
Right.
at 8 o'clock.
Or
I
Sunday at 9.
like, come on, guys. People
And
got
like
lives to
everything,
live.
it's all about the money, the prime viewing audiences, and they
I
don't
feel like
have
they're
anything to compete against when it's on at 9 o'clock on a Monday. Not NFL season yet, but the biggest I think they need to look at rearranging the whole thing, because if they wanted to do it on a Saturday, they would either have to get the final four in like on a Thursday or something, and let
they
them
could
play
go, yeah.
Saturday. Um, and then that
I mean,
shortens the turnaround for
that's what the Frozen Four does. They play on a Thursday and a Saturday.
hockey. As far as organization and common sense, by far is the elite of college sports.
Well, easily, and that's what we'll get into next. I mean, is the Frozen Four. But like I said, guys, check out that game tomorrow night. I don't think we both said I would be shocked if I stayed up to watch it, but I haven't really watched very much of this tournament period. But I'll probably watch some of it, but I doubt I'll stay up for all of it. I got work and life to live. um,
Right.
but speaking of hockey, Michigan makes their 28th Frozen Four. Um, looking to take on as they take on Boston College on Thursday. I mean, no, Boston College is the number one overall seed. Michigan, looking for their first natty since 1998, which is big because I mean they pretty much won their natty right after the Michigan football team did that season.
Yep.
Looks to do that. Michigan though they're hot. They're a very hot team right now. Have been since really about a month or so ago. They've won last 6 out of the last 7. Their only loss coming to Michigan State in the Big Ten tournament championship game, um, but we were able to pay him back last week in the regional finals. Um, going into this game, I think kind of how it was in football. I mean, I know hockey's a little bit different. It's not as it's hard to be as dominant as it is in football competitively, consistently. I say not competitively, consistently. Um, but I think in a way, whoever wins this game, just like the Michigan Alabama game in the Rose Bowl, I think is your favorite. Is definitely your favorite going into the finals. Um, whether I mean the other side of the bracket. I mean, Michigan's the only non-one seed in the tournament in the finals. I don't know if you noticed that.
Say that
Um,
again.
Michigan's the only non-one seed in the tournament. Everyone else is a one seed except us. We're a 3 seed. Um,
Yeah. Yeah.
with, I mean, Boston and Denver playing on the other side. Both. Oh, never mind. Boston's a 2 seed. I thought Boston was a 1 seed. Is this last year's? No, this is this year's. Okay, cool. So I lied about that. I don't know why I see someone post this. I don't believe everything you see on the social media, guys. Um, Boston College, like I said, number one overall seed of the tournament, though. So we're definitely playing the best team in the tournament. They had a tough game against. They played Quinnipiac last week. Had Quinnipiac, national champions last year, took the game to overtime. So I mean, they're definitely beatable, and it's going to be a tough game. Um, Brandon Nararto, he's been up for his second Coach of the Year award, finalist again. Sorry, he was a finalist again this year for Coach of the Year. I don't see why he shouldn't. I mean, there's a lot of people that say Nightlinger or whatever from Michigan State should do it, should get it. I mean, I can see that happening too. Michigan State hasn't been good in hockey in how long, and he's come in and
Right.
took him to Big Ten tournament champion, Big Ten champion, and loses in the Final Four or loses in the regional finals of the tournament. But I think it really does come down to how Boston College in this game, in my opinion, if Michigan comes out and plays how they did against Michigan State last week, um, I think they definitely can win it. I think whoever wins this side of the tournament is probably your favorite winning the national championship.
Yeah, and I would agree with that. And Michigan been to the Final Four a lot, but have not been able to bring it home. Right.
Not since I mean since '98, I think we've been 4 or 5 times
Yeah.
since
I
then.
was thinking 7 or 8, but
And it could be that's just me estimating and guessing. I can, but I mean back to back. This is our third straight. We made national championship game 2 years ago. Lost in the finals in the final Frozen Four last year to Quinnipiac. And I'm pretty the past 2 years we've lost to the defending national. We've lost to the national champion.
yes. Yep.
So I mean it's just it's time, and I hope we do it. I'll be cheering, watching, enjoying. Why is it doing that? Sorry, I got a. Can you hear an echo?
No.
Okay, it might. It's bad in my headphones. I don't know why it does this. But yeah, I think whoever wins this game, it's hard to say. I'm gonna pick Michigan just because I'm a Michigan fan, and but it's a tough choice between these two teams.
Yeah. I don't expect them to win, and that's who I'm gonna pick, just because, like you said, the fandom. But and they do have a lot of talent, a lot of future NFL or NHL guys, right? But
Yeah,
we'll see. This is a chance for Naruto to earn his stripes, and he's done a great job with the program, right? He's continued the success that others have had.
Pearson.
Yep, but and then Red, before him. So there's a lot to say for that. A lot of times you look at it, well, all he had to do was not fuck it up. But yeah, that's harder than it looks, right? A lot of times. So he's come in and done it. And, if he is able to, I think even if he is able to get to the final, that can probably be considered an elevation, a step. Be great to see him win it all, though. And I hate to get too greedy with the Michigan's athletic gods, but sure would be nice to have one.
Well, yeah, for sure.
And it'd just be nice to rub it. That'd be another thing to rub in our rivals' fans, right?
And not even really Ohio State hockey. It's more in Michigan State. They thought they were God's gift to Green Earth this season just because they have one good year. And when I knew we were beating them last week just because they kicked our ass all year.
Yeah.
You
want to know it's totally unrelated, right? But it's funny is that Ohio State women's hockey won the Natty, right? A couple weeks ago, I think it was.
Oh, yeah, I know, yeah.
and to see all these guys puffing their chest out and crowing about that just really showed how far they have come. But because before they're taking any victory they can get now, and I get it because we were there for a long time, right? But it's just funny to see the shoe on the other foot, and they're just They're clinging to everything that they get. They talked about that for 3 days, like they just won the football national championship, and um, just good stuff.
Oh yes, for sure. I don't know if you've seen it though. I thought you were going somewhere else with that. So like 2 days after, because that's like that Ohio State. I think that's like back to back for them or something like that. They've been on in women hockey. I don't know if you've seen it, but what's whoever or what's her name? The regent, the head of regions.
I can't remember.
Yeah. Anyways, she come out and said, "I think it's time that Michigan makes their women's team NCAA." Like 2 days, like a day or two after Ohio State won, Michigan said, "I think it's time for us to make our women's team an actual NCAA branded team."
Yeah,
Just because it's like all it is like an intramural team, like everywhere
right.
else.
Club
Um,
sport.
yeah, and I think and so that I seen that and I'm like, oh, rivalries here no matter what. I said it don't matter where you're at.
Right.
Um, but I mean, yeah, dude. But it's more to Michigan State fans, like people like fucking Justin Shapiro, that piece of shit, um, shit like that. By the way, that post is starting to catch fire a day later.
Good.
So, but we'll see how that one goes. Thursday night, another late. That's a late game start, but on a Thursday, I can handle it more than I can handle it on a fucking Monday. Um, Tigers baseball is back. Started last Thursday. Two series wins, a sweep for the White Sox, and a 2-1 series win over the Mets, and it's right now a tied 1-1 with the Athletics. Um, Looking for their third series win and looking to start 7-2. As of right now, Tigers are off to their best start since 19. Not, I'm sorry. Wow, that was supposed to be 1998 was Michigan. Since 2015 was the last time Michigan, the Tigers have started 6-1. Now, obviously proceeding to 7-2. Um, they're playing good baseball. I mean, there's some worries to look worried at. I mean, we're playing pretty much three teams that are projected to be not very good this season to start the year, especially the A's. The White Sox are predicted to finish to the bottom of the Central, and the Mets are projected to finish middle of the pack, bottom of the NL West, East. I'm sorry. Um, for you, what do you think the ceiling and floor is for this team? I know they've started out hot. I think we still have offensive issues. I don't know if it's because it's cold, um, or what. I mean, what's the ceiling? What's the floor for the Tigers baseball this year?
You know,
Just especially seeing what you've seen.
so what I've seen was every game has been won by one run or less, right? Before
Uh,
or extra
other,
inning, or
yeah,
extra
yeah,
inning. And that's just not sustainable. Super fun to watch, right? But sooner or later, those odds are going to come back against you. I think we're hitting 206 as a team. Not going to have a lot of sustained success with that. I think that most of the things that could go our way have, and again, that's just not sustainable. Um, the good news about that is the East sucks, right? And 500 might be good enough to get you in.
Central, Central.
Central, I mean, yeah, sorry. But I think we're going to hang around right around 500, and if we
Oh,
do
that
that, that may get us in there.
pitching wise, the pitching has been great. Other than Kente Medea, all the starters have really looked good. I mean, Tarek Skubal kind of had an off game, and he was mad at himself against the A's in Game One. Still won that game. Oh well. Um, but I mean, offensively, we've our bats have shown the spurts of what it can be. I mean, you look at what we did um, in in New York, Game One, 0-0. Pretty much both teams were doing something. We come out and score 5 runs in the 10th inning. Um, I mean, you have that. They did it like the next night or whatever, just explosion of bats. fucking Javi Baez is Javi Baez still.
Yeah.
Dude, I don't know how you do this 3 years in a row and still in the starting lineup. I mean, I know
Well,
I
they're
get it.
paying
It's
him a
because of his
ton of
glove,
money.
but
They have to. I mean, they got to play him, right? And I get that, but I really thought they might move on from him this year. You knew that his bat was a liability coming into it, but he has been, for him, even for him, historically bad. He's always been a streaky guy, but um, he really hasn't got it going a whole lot for sustained periods. The whole time he's been with the Tigers, and uh, I forget what the first year was, but maybe he was hurt, and then okay, he's going to get it going last year, and um, he had like a 6-week period last year. I feel like, if I'm remembering right, where he did pretty good, and we thought, okay, this is the guy that we paid for, and
yeah,
then
it was right after Hinch pulled him in the middle of a game and benched him in the middle of a game.
that's right, but he's never seen. There's not a pitch out there that he won't take a swing at, and
Oh no.
that's a big part of his problem. He just needs to be a little more disciplined at the plate, and better things will happen. But yeah,
Or
you know,
he'll swing
I,
it.
I wouldn't call him a horrible signing, and I get why they did it. I was excited when they got him, but just not there, just not what we expected to be.
No, and his like I said, his fielding aspect of it, he's been great still. I mean, people bitched last year because he had a few errors. He kind of had a down year in the field, but the year before and then really this year so far, he's been pretty clean. Um, I think honestly, we can be an 80, 90 win baseball team. Um, but I also, from what I've seen, I think we can, as if the pitching decides to take shit. I mean, the bullpen's been fantastic. Um, I could see us being a 50, 60 win team, which
Yeah,
I hate to say, but I'm more leaning towards the 80, 90 win team than I am anything else. Um, we aren't a power hitting team. You're not going to see the Tigers hitting 300 home runs as a team, 400 home runs as a team, whatever. You're going to have your Torkelson, who I think everyone's complaining about him and Riley Green not being. I'm like, guys, we're 9 games into the season, 9 games after today. The Tiger, it's cold. It's cold no matter where they played. They played in Chicago, New York, and now at home in Detroit. Cold. You're looking at 2 rain delays in New York. So the boys are probably tired right now, especially going after the 2 rain delays. Play a doubleheader. Pretty much both your doubleheader. Your one doubleheader goes into 11 innings. Then you got to play another one right after that. That game almost goes into extra innings. So they're probably tired looking here now. So I think this series against the A's, I don't think we're seeing 100% the best of the Tigers. That
yeah,
what we've seen against the White Sox and things like that, just because they're tired. Because I mean, they've went in this short season, 8, 9 games into the season already. They've played a lot of baseball. They've been tired. They haven't had a lot of time off because even on those rain delays, they were still going in and working out like they were going to
right.
be playing the game that day. You get off that game in New York, you're getting right on a plane flying back to Detroit to play an opening day game at 12 o'clock the next morning or next afternoon. So I think the bats will come. I think this is probably I'm going to believe the hype from what I'm seeing. I think 80, 90 win team is where I see us finishing this season, and I think that easily wins us the Central.
If we can win 90 games, we'll win it by 12 or something. I don't see that happening. Again, like I said, we've kind of lived right on the edge, and a lot of things have went our way, and that's great. But um, injuries can sneak up and get you, and we'll see. I do agree that our low ends could still be 50, 60 games. Um, but
I think that's more just scar tissue, but
and it could be right, but we with I think that somewhere between 75 and 82 82, 83 is probably the best guess that I have, anyways. But we'll see. Torque's another one, hot and cold, and he's still young, right? And I'm not bagging on him, but
Well, he had 30 home runs last season. I think
yeah,
he coming hot. Every year it seems like at this time this time of the year always makes or breaks our season. April every year. Last April we started like 2-6 last year, and we were horrible. We played like above 500 baseball the rest of the season. Same thing with the year before that. April part of May murdered us, killed our season. We played above 500 baseball the rest of the season after that.
yeah,
We need to get out of the cold as long as we can finish. Even if we finish the cold period, the cold season, I call is if we finish that above at 500 or above, or right around 500, we could be 1 or 2 games south. We are in very good shape as a baseball team. I mean, I think hopefully your team comes out and after the cold weather, because what is it up there right now? What's the weather? What's the temperature outside? You know,
it's probably mid 40s. Supposed to be 55 today, I think.
better. Yeah. Well, opening day wasn't it like 30 degrees on Thursday,
Yeah, yeah.
and partially snowing, and but I think it'll be a good year. I think it'll be a good year for us. I do. And it's all like I said. It's all going to come down to how we do this month. But we gotta. We'll really see. We'll really see next. I don't know if it's tomorrow or if they get a day off in between. But they play the Pirates. The Pirates are playing the Pirates. Pirates, I think, are right up there with us in the standings, like ranking wise, record wise. But we'll see. Out of like players you've seen that you haven't that are new this year, Colt Keith, coming up from the minors, picking up Gio Urshela for third base, Mike Canna, or not Mike. I always get his name fucking. It's Mark. Mark
Yeah.
Canna. Out of the players you've seen that are new, you can even do pitchers. I mean, the who's the most intrigued you've been by this season? I mean, for me it's been Gio Urshela. Urshela's been way bigger than and way better than what I thought he was going to be for us. Um,
Yeah, and I would probably say Shella.
Urshela, he's been a great glove at third base, and I mean his bat's been pretty decent too. I mean he's come in some timely hitting 2 or 3 times this season. Um, Honestly, now that I don't really have a, how they used to do that whole promo like who's your tiger and stuff. I don't. Let me tell you all, it's open right now. I don't. Miggy was my tiger. I mean, just like a lot of people, he was their
Right.
tiger.
For
Um,
15, I mean, half your life,
yeah.
right? More than half your life.
Well, I guess when he first come, he really wasn't. But after Pudge and I was a huge everyone. I mean, I was a huge Pudge fan when he was here, and then I kind of moved on, and I was a unconventional fan. I didn't pick the Miguel Cabrera. I picked the Brandon Inge when Brandon Inge was in Detroit. I loved him. I loved Don Kelly.
Yeah.
As a player. Played a lot of them, but I mean, Miggy was definitely always up there. So I mean, it's really open. But Gio Urshela is definitely kind of pulling me into maybe pulling a trigger on a jersey, even though he'll probably only be here for a year or two. My luck, I'll buy a jersey and we'll trade him at the trade deadline. And awesome.
Yeah.
Like I said, I think an 80-90 win season is very possible for the Tigers this year. But we'll see.
Yeah. Yeah. We'll see. And it's April is fool's gold. I think whether you start off hot or you start off cold, you don't really have a decent idea until June. I don't think you don't have a really good idea really till the All-Star break, middle of July, right? If how competitive your team's going to be. We could be knocking on first place or hanging right around or by the All-Star break, and we could be 20 games behind. That's just the reality of it. But you kind
If
of
we're
hit the
20
nail on
games
the head.
behind in the Central, we have an issue.
Yeah, but it's
No, I know.
possible, right?
Yeah, and
but you kind of hit the nail on the head with the there's not Miggy was the face of the franchise for forever, and we don't really have that right now. We don't have that star power. We don't have that star player. We
I
don't
think
even really have,
your closest person is Casey Mize or Tarek Skubal. I mean, we're a young team, and I'm
yeah,
excited for that reasoning that we've
yeah,
kind of flipped the page from being a team where we were picking up old dudes, old heads, and they were coming in playing 2-3 years, and we were doing good with them. AKA back in the early 2010s when we picked up people like Johnny Peralta, Prince Fielder, bringing in people like David Price, Doug Fister. I mean, that's. But now we're getting to the point where we want to make which we've been at this point. It's just getting there. Is we want to make our lineup young so we can have this lineup for years, rather than having them for 2-3 years, having to find somebody else to fill their spots with. Um, but one thing, I mean, I don't care what people say. Scott Harris has done a great job.
he has, and the
Drafting
jury's
wise, and it's
still out
proven.
on him. But I love just about every single thing he's done. He's a lot like Brad Holmes for the Lions. It just seems like everything he's touched has worked for the most part, right? And then you got Troy Smith over at the Pistons.
Yeah, I was about to say that's where I was about to go. I was like, yeah, and then you got Troy Smith. That dude just trying to get into fights with fans because they're calling him out because he's not doing his job.
Right, and that's been a while, right? But
I know.
it, that I just thought that was a bad look. If you're in the stands, out in a place where the public can easily interact with you, and the team that you're paid to run sucks
Can see you too.
and has a few beers, right? That's going to happen. And maybe we didn't see everything, but I think we did. I didn't see anything that fan did to be kicked out for. If you want to tell him to sit down and shut up, fine, I guess. But
Or move
that
him.
just
Tell him to move. But that's
right,
just a fucking power move. He said, "Oh, I'm the owner of this team. Have a good." And I guarantee that fan walked out of there fucking laughing. Didn't give
right,
a fuck. Why the fuck? He don't care. What, he gonna watch the Pistons lose by fucking 40?
right. That just that really made him look soft to me. Like I said, give the guy a warning and say, hey, leave him alone or you're out. Fine. And maybe they did, but I
He could
doubt
have.
it.
And
The move now is just to cancel everybody and get them out of their way.
um,
And there may be more to the story, if that guy made threats or anything, but I never seen any allegations of that. But just a bad deal. And even though it's unfair, it's part of the job, right? It just
gotta
is.
take this
Um,
criticism, especially when you do that.
Part of the reason why you get paid millions of dollars um, and do horrible at the job and still keep your job. So, there's not many people that could perform the way he has performed at his job for 3 or 4 years now and still keep it. So, we're going to get down a whole nother rabbit hole here, and I'll try to limit it because I know my time is I don't have all day, but Tom Gore's not involved. Born in Flint, made a lot of money, lives in L.A. Sounds like he comes back a fair amount, and he has the last 6-7 years. He has spent a tremendous amount of money trying to be
Yeah,
competitive, but he, from Stan Van Gundy to C to no now Monty, and just, spend some money on free agents where the injuries or they just haven't worked out. Um, it just seems he can't buy a break, and lot of calls for him to sell the team, but
Yeah,
I do think he has tried in earnest, and it just hasn't worked out.
I think there's one more move that he has, like that he could do to try to bring in a proven veteran, like a good veteran, like spend the money, go out there. I'm not saying go get your LeBron James. I don't want LeBron James in the Pistons. I don't think LeBron James would come to the Pistons, but
Like who?
somebody like, I don't know the NBA anymore. I mean, I just don't know them off the top of my head anymore. Like your like your players, like your Anthony Davises or your Zion Williams. Well, he's been hurt all the time, but Mellow Balls, people who are consistently good and can come in and have been in the league for 4 or 5 years, know what they're doing. I mean, I get it. I guess we got players on our team who've been on the team for 4 or 5 years that are
Yeah,
missing. I guess
Cade Cunningham, and he's had a lot of injury
it's been
problems, but
3 years, four
he,
years.
he was supposed to be the savior, and I liked him as a college basketball player, but I did not see him. I did not see his value that everybody else seen, and I thought he would be a good, not great NBA player, and that's kind of turned out, and that's not a criticism because there's a lot of guys whose personality is just not right to lead a team to greatness. Grant Hill is another one. Grant was really good here. Injuries plagued him here during another shitty era of Pistons basketball, and he was very very good, not great. And that's kind of where I put Cade Cunningham is in the. And Grant Hill had a hell of a career. Don't get me wrong, but that's kind of where I put him. Um, who I compare him to.
Yeah. You want to know who I think we should go get? And this is a very, probably no one's going to agree with me on this, but I've said it before. Now that I just thought about it and sat here and thought about it some more, we need to go get Draymond Green. I hate to fucking say it, but I think if we, I don't, the dude, we need some type of fucking fire under our asses. If he's
Yeah,
gonna come in and knock a few dudes the fuck out, oh fucking well.
and fine,
He's not.
and
He's not gonna produce that well, but he's gonna. We need to
and
bring back old school basketball in some fucking way. That's one thing. A lot of people bitch about what he does. I bitched a little bit. Some of the shit that he does has been a little bit overblown. But fucking 30 years ago, that would have just been a blink. You'd have just blinked your eye and it would have been gone.
and I've said I despise the guy. Right, drives me nuts. Sparty, so now I hate him. Right, but I've said this for years. He's the Bill Laimbeer of this era, and or the Charles Oakley, or I mean, you can go right on down the line. He's a guy that you love to hate, but if he was on your team, you would love him, and I would love to see him. And I think I don't know. I don't know that how his game translates. If it's enough to push the Pistons over the edge, but it may be. And I think of all the possibilities out there, he's probably the one that we have the best chance with
Well,
because
that's one thing. That's where I was going with. Is
Golden
more
State's
realistic.
tired of his shit, right? From Steph Curry to Steve Kerr, they're done. And Michigan guy, Sag Nasty, right? He would probably come here and play his last 2 years and or whatever it may be, and as his career winds down. And as much as I just like the guy, I do think that would be a good move for the Pistons if they can make that happen and
And
at the
I
right
mean,
price.
another Michigan-born player, probably your top 10 player, is a top 10 player in the league. That I think another thing could happen, especially with Monty Williams as the head coach, is Devin Booker from Phoenix. I mean,
And
that's gonna mess with Cade, and we're probably gonna have to get rid of Cade or Ivy or someone like that to bring him in. I wouldn't be upset if we traded Cade Cunningham to the Suns or something like that to bring him in. But, I mean,
if I
Devin Booker's probably a top 10 player in the league right now.
yeah, I would agree with that carry on for just a minute.
You're gonna put me on basketball to carry NBA basketball to carry on. Um, but it really just depends. Depends on what happens with all this. I don't really. Okay, cool. You're back already. That's perfect. You put me on the wrong thing to just throw me off about
Sorry,
NBA. I can't just go off about the NBA.
and me either. And I like that. I like that Booker thing. We'd probably have to give up, a Cade and an Ivy, or a Cade and a
You need to
first
keep
round pick
Duran.
to get him.
Keep Duran. Well, no matter what you. That's fine. But you keep Jalen Duran. You keep. If the Pistons were to go get both them, Draymond Green and Devin Booker, we're instant playoff contenders, in my opinion. Instant with
Yeah,
both
I
of
don't know
them.
about that,
You
but
got your mix of
I think
veteran talent and your mix of rookies, not rookies, but your 3-4 year dudes. I don't know,
I don't know.
but
It's just in my lifetime we've never had all four major sport teams on the same page, and mostly that's on the Lions, right? Because the Red Wings have won championships and had success. The Tigers have won a championship since I've been alive,
they've
and
competed. They've been to the World
yeah,
Series. They,
they've been very competitive, and the Red Wings, were dominant for 15 years or so. I don't know. I don't remember what it was, but
been dominant multiple times for a long period of time. And yeah, but it was it was really 20 years they were dominant up until
yeah.
2015. Um,
And to be honest, if someone said, "Okay, pick three of your four teams can be great, and you get to pick," I
I'm
would
picking
probably, huh?
yes. Fuck the Pistons.
Yeah, I would probably pick the Pistons. So, if no other reason, then I'd really, in my lifetime, like to see the Lions get one. And baseball first love, right? And college football is above that now. But funny story is over Nanny's cleaning stuff up, right? Pull out a drawer, and I found a notebook that thick of every Tiger. We used to go to 30, 40 games a summer when I was a kid. And um, I used to take this little notepad and get autographs. And man, there's like 40 of them in there. No real bangers. Lance
Yeah,
Parrish, but I got Parrish and Alan Trammell and Lou Whitaker. And
same shit that you had me do at the Braylon
yeah,
Edwards stuff. I have those hung up in a picture frame all right now. That's where I've kept them. Now,
right. Difference is I haven't seen these in probably
yeah.
35 years.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, we were out there when I found them, found all these,
Yep.
and I'd forgotten all about them.
Yep.
I was like, oh shit, never mind. I forgot that I had all these. But yeah, no, that's awesome. I mean, that's really cool. Probably never. Good thing you were the one going through the house,
Right.
going through stuff. Um, real quick, I just want to touch on them. I know we're kind of running out of time. Michigan Panthers in the UFL. UFL's back. UFL's first inaugural season with the XFL, USFL. Wanted to talk about them last week. Um, Panthers start out 1-0. Jake Bates hit a 64-yarder twice. Um, pretty much to win it last week over St. Louis Battlehawks. This week they take on the back-to-back defending champs of the USFL and the Birmingham Stallions today at I think 11 or 12. EJ Perry looks to lead them to a victory. Michigan Panthers look to prove that they're going to stay competitive as they made a playoff run last season.
Yeah.
Um, why didn't I watch the game last weekend? I had something to do last weekend. I didn't watch the game last week, but that's my plan this week is to sit down and strictly watch that over the Tigers game today. But I think it's fun for the city. I think it's at Ford Field
Yeah,
again
it
today.
gives you your football fix, right?
Oh yeah, it
Yep.
does. And no matter and it's a lot of people complain and say, "Oh, well, it doesn't have the quarterback play." And I said, "Well, yeah, no shit, guys. You're getting players that are good enough to play in the NFL on the defensive side,
Right.
but they defensive side don't have as many spots." And I mean, it's
No,
still, in
and
my
you know
opinion,
the
it's still
reality
entertaining.
is there's 10 quarterbacks that are very good that you'd buy a ticket just to watch them in the NFL. There's just not enough great ones to go around.
Yeah, and I
It's a
mean,
lot
this is
like
gonna happen.
relief pitching in baseball. There's
Hmm.
there's a couple great ones and a bunch good.
Indeed. Indeed, but we'll see what they do today. We'll get in a little bit more into the Panthers and UFL in the upcoming weeks. Um, we This is something I think we both want to focus on. I think it'd be fun to focus on them. How we kind of focus on Michigan football, just to have them in the off season, just to kind of focus on. Obviously, we'll focus on the Tigers too, um, but that few other things before we get into the Detroit Sports Mount Rushmore. Red Wings are uh, 2 games, a game back. I don't remember at this point.
Yeah, they're done.
Of No, I mean they still hold their own destiny.
They're they're done. Too
No, they're
young.
no
That
Red Wings.
that bad streak too. They're not making the playoffs. I
Everyone
will
else has 2 games on us.
I will eat 2 hot chips if you eat a Campbell whipped cream.
No, I don't. No, you should just eat the hot chip. I shouldn't have to do anything. I already paid my bet.
Well,
If you're gonna say
I'm proposing a bet. If they
I'm not
win,
eating whipped cream, I
if,
would rather eat
if,
another hot chip.
no, if they get in, how about you eat a can of mustard sardines then?
No, I'd rather eat another hot chip than do anything like that.
You like oysters?
Nope, I'm not eating oysters either. I promise. No, oysters are probably the nastiest thing in this oyster. Yeah, I don't understand people down here that eat fucking oysters raw, and I'm like, that's disgusting. Um,
So real quick, and this wasn't your top of the line oysters, right? But when I think I was a sophomore or junior in high school, our biology teacher brought in oysters, and we were dissecting them. But he gave us like, I don't remember, a shit ton of extra credit, like a free A, or I don't remember, if you ate an oyster. And I'm like, oh fuck it, I'll eat one. I need all the extra credit I can get, right? And the nastiest thing I've ever ate in my life. The nastiest. And I know quite a few people that absolutely love them. And last night we went out to a place that has them, and I'm staring at them. I'm thinking $37 for a bunch of snot. No, no,
oh,
thank
it's dude. All seafood right now is out the ass. I mean,
you. It is.
I need to go get crawfish. That's what I need to go get. And I'll tell you what, I'll eat 3 pounds of crawfish if I lose.
Oh yeah, that's a punishment.
Anyways, all right. Detroit sports Mount Rushmore. How do you want to do this? Because there's 2 different ways you can do it. Kind of how we did with the Michigan Mount Rushmore. Do you want to go your top player for each team? Michigan or the Lions, Tigers, Red Wings. You just want to go in order anybody.
So I think at some point we should do just everybody, but I'm gonna do one
Okay,
from
that's what
each
I did.
team,
So
and they're gonna be playing in my lifetime because somebody that I
okay.
physically got to watch play either in person or on TV. And I don't think you do that because you don't have the you do what you want, but you
No,
haven't been
we'll
around
we'll do
nearly
it.
as
And I
long as
have
it.
I only have to change 2.
Right. And I know one of the dumbest thing ever
No, it's
because
not.
I listen, I I could do a 2 hour rant on why he does not even belong in the Hall of Fame just on that alone. I got receipts, man. I've been looking because he just. But whatever, that's fine. It's your list. You say what you want.
Who's better? Who is better? I guess Ben Wallace would be the only argument.
Joe Dumars,
Since I've been
Isaiah
alive.
Thomas, Joe Dumars. Isaiah Thomas still played when you were alive, I believe.
Well, I might have to change that back then if that's okay. Well, I'm gonna say who I watched. Anyways, we'll do it like that, and then we'll do like an all-time one where it's everybody. we'll run it how you like what you said because I only have to change two, and that's fine, and they're easy changes. Kick us off, buddy.
Okay, so I'm gonna start with I'm gonna start with Tigers. I'll say
Okay,
LK
mine's
Line.
obviously Miguel.
And Miggy's right there. Yeah, and I watched the tail end of LK Line. I was really young, but yeah. Detroit Lions, Barry Sanders, not even close.
I had this written over Barry Sanders, even if either way we did it, and it's Calvin Johnson.
And as soon as I said not even close, I was like, well, what about Calvin? Calvin is really close.
I originally wrote in Barry, and I thought about it, and I was like, well, I don't know. Calvin broke a lot of records too, all-time season leader, and I think that's a 50-50 toss-up. Neither one of them have any Super Bowl rings.
Right. No, I think you can make a tremendous argument for and against either one. Red Wings, Stevie Y, man, are just.
I had Stevie Y written, but since we're kind of doing more like people that I remember, the magician Pavel Datsuk. I think.
Yep. And there's a hell of an argument for Nick Lindstrom too. I mean,
defenseman wise.
Yeah.
I mean, you can argue there. You can argue if Zetterberg wouldn't have got hurt and had to retire early. I think you can argue Zetterberg. But I think if he would have been able to play his whole career out, the Red Wings would be in a different spot than they were now. And I think a little bit better. I think we already would have made back to the playoffs at some point, having a veteran on the team. And then the Pistons, Mr. Big Shot, Chauncey Billups. Ooh, hang on.
He is not a top 10 Piston since you've been alive.
The only person I think you could argue that I've personally watched and have followed, so really since that time period, is Ben Wallace.
He was the fourth or fifth best player on that team. Okay. So Rip's above him, Sheed's above him. Him and Tayshaun both did different things. You could argue for Chauncey to be in front of Tayshaun, and you could argue for Tayshaun to be in front of Prince, but there's no argument to put him above those other three. There's none. And yeah, he made some clutch shots, and yeah, he showed up big in games where we needed him the most, right? But as far as
he was better than Sheed, he was better than Tayshaun, he was better than Rip. The only person on that team that you could argue with is Ben Wallace. The only two Hall of Famers on the team.
Chauncey Billups is not a Hall of Famer.
That's not what just happened 3 days ago.
He's gonna be.
He's gonna be.
Is he in the Hall of Fame?
He's gonna be though.
Can I go there today? Can I go there today and see his trophy?
Building the statue. Greatest point guard of all time.
Oh Jesus. Pistons, just in the last 20 years that have been better than him. Cade Cunningham, Duran.
Okay.
Allen Iverson, Rasheed Wallace, Ben Wallace, Rip Hamilton, Tayshaun Prince. What's the guy that you love that come here from the Clippers? Blake Griffin?
No, Blake Griffin. Blake Griffin is not a better player than Chauncey Billups. And dude, Blake Griffin was a fucking walking trash can when he came to the fucking Pistons.
Right. That's how much.
Chauncey Billups is a 5-time All-Star, Finals MVP, NBA champion. He's a 3-time All-NBA selection. You can't just look at his time on the Pistons and look at his Hall of Fame career. You got to look when he was with the Nuggets and Who else was he with? The Raptors? I guess he really wasn't with the
The
Raptors
best
that
years of his
long.
career were with us.
I agree that, but
he
he
was a
had a good
no he
career.
was a nobody before he come here, and he was a nobody when he left. The team made him better, and he played out of his mind in the NBA Finals. And would we have won it without him? Probably not. And he won the Finals MVP. That's fine. There's a guy I can't even think of his name that scored 50 the other night, career journeyman in the
Okay, whoa, whoa,
NBA.
whoa, whoa,
You'll
whoa,
never
whoa!
hear
Don't
you'll never hear from him again. These
don't even
guys,
compare the NBA today to the NBA that was fucking even in 2004, 2000, early 2000s. It is way different, and you know that. The Pistons, never mind. You're doing this just to fucking irk me, and I'm not gonna let it happen.
my point is, the sun shines on a dog's ass every once in a while. Chauncey Billups was a solid role player, and that's it.
NBA champion, NBA Finals MVP, 5-time NBA All Star, All NBA second team, 2-time NBA third team, 2-time NBA All Defensive second team, NBA Sportsman Award. Okay, well that really doesn't. Well, and you go back to, yeah, he's definitely a Hall of Famer. No fucking shot.
And I will grant you this much. I think that 2/3 of the players voted in the Hall of Fame in all sports now don't deserve to be in. This isn't a personal attack on Chauncey Billups, but I think we let way too many people into the Hall of Fame is the bottom line. All Hall of Fames. I think it's no longer an elite club. If a guy has a couple good years, he's in the Hall of Fame. And Chauncey Billups had a couple good years, and he's going to a Hall of Fame. And congratulations to him. I love the guy, but Allen Iverson was 100 times the point guard when he was with the Pistons, and he was well past his prime.
Shut the fuck up. No.
That's just
AI
the
was
reality of
not.
it.
That's why do you think we have the curse of Allen Iverson going on right now? You know this. We ain't
We
been
ain't got no
good since
Allen
Allen
Iverson.
Iverson came to Detroit. We made the playoff.
We weren't good before that.
We won a fucking NBA championship and went to like another one.
Yeah, like 4 years
Oh
before
my
that.
god! And it was 3 years when we went to the last one, and we were still competing in the playoffs. It was at the same time LeBron James come around and started taking over the league.
Why'd we trade Chauncey Billups?
Because the fucking Pistons are dumb. Thought AI was better. That's a horrible. That is the worst fucking trade in NBA fucking history. Let's take fucking washed up Allen Iverson for a fucking prime Chauncey Billups. Don't even fucking say that shit because you know it's not fucking true. You know AI was the worst fucking trade in NBA history.
Oh, it's not even top 100 and worst in NBA history.
Okay, pal.
So,
Real quick.
so anyways,
Go ahead.
Back to our Mount Rushmore before Hunter lost control of his emotions and went on. I want to include 5 on my Rushmore because this guy doesn't play
Honorable mention.
Yeah, a top sport. But Joe Louis, I think he's got to be on any of them. But you go back to like Ty Cobb, Bobby Lane, Hank Greenberg, Terry Gallagher, Ted Lindsay,
There's a lot.
Joe Schmidt, Alan Trammell, Lou, Doak Walker, Terry Sawchuk, Gordie Howe, right? The list of Detroit athletes is pretty impressive.
I agree. Like I said, sucks we don't really have the championships to show for it. But
right.
Did you, before we go, did you see this on WrestleMania last night?
Jason Kelsey?
No.
Oh yeah. I did see that.
Someone in the crowd had 1,589 days since OSU's beat Michigan national champions.
Top 10 internet troll ever, right? I think.
Oh, dude, I definitely was like, I do not expect to see this at did not expect to see it at WrestleMania, but
Yeah,
I was
so
like,
I
this is
don't remember if Swanky
awesome.
or somebody posted it, but I thought it was Photoshop deal, and then I
I did
started,
too at first.
and I'm like, oh no, it's real. So good stuff, man.
Oh yeah, for sure. You gotta enjoy it. Gotta love the rivalry banter. Um, just going off that real quick. I know it's time to go. Um, I was on Twitter the other day, and someone in the comment section was like, replied to some Buckeye page and said, "Do you guys ever just shut the fuck up? It's the
They
fucking
don't.
off season. Why are no? I mean, no. He was talking about the rivalry period. Like, it wasn't
I,
talking about just Ohio
I
State fans.
I saw that post.
And I was like, no, we don't. It's 365 days a year, dude. I
Right.
was like, and I think he was like a USC fan or something like that, like some a new fan coming into the league. Um, but yes, but guys, thank you guys for tuning in. We will see you guys next week, or hopefully next week. I don't know anymore. Whenever we have time during the off season, you guys know this. If y'all have been watching for a while, um, we will see you guys then. Hopefully, you have an update on Michigan being national champions in hockey, if not about to be. Talk about get back into Tigers and update you guys on Tigers at that rate, and hopefully we got some not bad Michigan football news, but something good at that rate. I mean, by then it'll be close to the spring game. Um,
And hopefully the Naismith the Hall of Fame comes to its senses
Jesus Christ. Okay,
and changes their
y'all
vote.
have a good night and enjoy your Sunday. As always, go blue.
Hail.